Hey guys and girls, welcome back to BBR Suspension. So today we're going to get started with a project that's actually been on the back burner for a little while. A couple of reasons why, but okay, so what we're going to be busy with is we're going to be doing some Porsche suspension struts for a 904 replica that's been built. It's a very high-end build that a friend of mine is busy with. So the 904 was basically a race car. Was built in 1963 and 1964 by Porsche, and that followed a Formula One program that they had, which they pulled the plug on. They obviously weren't doing too well in the Formula One scene, so they pulled the plug on the Formula One program that they were running. And then, as most of you in the motorsport sort of, or anyone who's a petrol head will know, is what wins on a Sunday sells on a Monday. So what they did is they figured they've got to have some sort of motorsport program or contingency. And to do that, they decided to develop the 904, which was effectively an endurance type race car, so Le Mans kind of racing. And what they did is they built these cars for 2 years. Now, unfortunately, because most of them were race cars, they landed up hitting a wall or rolling or getting trashed somewhere. So I don't think there's any original ones left, well, definitely not in South Africa. There might be a couple around the world, but there were obviously very limited numbers that were built. So this friend of mine who's busy building the replica, he got a hold of Porsche, and they were very kind in assisting with a lot of the drawings, because obviously for them to build a one-off is not viable. Porsche is like any other motor manufacturer nowadays, they've become production line assembly plants. So Porsche have sent quite a substantial pack of drawings, and some of the drawings, the original drawings, are basically old hand-drawn blueprints, something like that. And what we've done, we've transferred or converted them into some CAD drawings and added in some measurements. So this kind of configuration. And so the drawing I just showed you is the lower control arm, and that is the upper control arm. And what we're also going to do on these, there's certain parts that were used when they were manufactured. So if I can point out on this specific drawing, that block is a clamping block. And when these cars were built originally, they had a ball joint on a sleeve which slid in and out of the clamping block, and they could use pinch bolts to clamp. Now, those type of ball joints aren't available in South Africa. So we can get a different type of ball joint, which has got a threaded end, or similar to a conventional rod end. So what we'll do is we'll replace that clamping mechanism with a threaded sleeve, and that way we can adjust the in and out configuration to get the wheel alignment set up. So that's one of the modifications we've got to do. And then on the lower control arm that I showed you, that specific sleeve, shall I say, also took a very specific ball joint, which is it's not available. So what we're going to be doing, we've sourced some spherical bearings. These spherical bearings are pretty decent because they can take quite a load. They're actually a little bit bigger than the original ball joint, so they should be able to handle load fine. And got some internal circlips which we'll use. We'll have to make up a carrier for the actual bearing, and that'll be going on the lower control arms. So what we'll do is we're going to be doing quite a few modifications to the original design. And then the tubing side of things, got a little delivery, and this is the reason why we've had to put this project off for a while. Pro Tools USA had to get a die for my tube bender. So the drawing calls for 1 inch tubing. So what we'll be doing is I've managed to source some 1010 cold rolled steel tubing with a 2mm wall. So that should be plenty strong enough for these struts. And we worked out, I've done a little bit of a sort of, let's call it a pre-run on 7/8 tubing with the die that I did have, but the bend radius, the centerline bend radius, is a little bit tight on the 7/8, so that's the reason why I had to get the bigger die. So now that I've got the die, I've got the spherical bearings, I've got the tubing, I've got all the steel, we can get cracking with this project. I think it's going to be a really cool project. I haven't quite done anything like this before, so it's going to be a bit of a learning curve for me. And part of the packet drawings that Porsche sent are drawings for complete jig assemblies. I'll just grab one to show you. So they've sent us complete jig assemblies, and this would be obviously if we're making multiple units, but for the time being I'm going to try and do them without the cost of manufacturing and the time taken to manufacture a jig. I'll try and do minimal jig work if possible, and clamp it in such a way that we can get them tacked up at multiple points and then do the final welds, and we should have no distortion. So we're going to get cracking. We're going to start off by cutting the steel, and we're going to do all the machining of all the parts that need machining work first, and then we'll get to the bending and then the final welding. So we're going to get cracking with cutting the raw steel. We're going to do all the bushes out of solid 40mm round bar. It's a 4140 or EN19 is the material we're going to be using there. So I've got some 40mm round bar. We're going to get cracking with that, and I'm probably going to land up having to split this project into a series of a couple of videos, but I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm looking forward to it, so I hope you guys are too. Let's head over to the bandsaw and we'll get cracking with the cutting work.
Feel you so close, need to close your eyes. It's you and I. Let the time pass by, we don't care about the others. Let's stay dancing all night, cause I know you're my lover. Ooh, baby, I love it, and I can't ignore it. I like and you can notice my body gets scary, alright. I don't wanna miss it, you know that if you offer me, and I don't wanna leave. So tell me, baby, what should we do? That's right, we have feelings high. So
Right guys, so we've finished machining the pivot bushers and the spherical bearing holders. I think that's pretty much all we got time for today. So we will get cracking in the next episode with the camber adjusters. But I hope you've enjoyed what we've done so far. It's been a fair amount of work. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Take care for now. Cheers.